Hey everyone, happy Saturday. Jo here at SportsGrid, and it's time for a Puck It with Jo. Now, I hope you caught those cup of Joes this morning. Kyrou already getting us that anytime goal for the St. Louis Blues. We got so much value with that, but plenty of opportunities to make some money. So let's look at the live lines, everything that's happening. We got 4 games right now going on, and I'll just look and tell you where I do think you can jump in on those. So big shout out to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here on a Saturday. Jo jumping in there with his Kraken. I'd like to see the Philadelphia Flyers lose. You know that the Flyers, I think, are an absolute mess right now. So we'll get to that game. We'll go over all of these games coming up. Let's look at the live lines right now. I feel like I'm off centered with my camera, so I'm just going to move over a little bit. Just was feeling kind of weird there. So apologies for that. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful Saturday. We got the big game tomorrow, so super excited. Let's go. Okay, Jo looking at Calgary live lines. So let's look at that Calgary game. Calgary up 3-1 over the Islanders. Now, I did expect Calgary to come out nice and strong with the addition of some of these younger players that they brought up from the AHL and Kuzmenko coming in from Vancouver. They've been playing fantastic out there. So they got up nice and fast in that game. They're sitting 3-1 right now, minus 4,000 on that money line for the Calgary Flames. Laying the 2.5 is minus 102. Now, the Islanders have been they've been struggling defensively. Coming out of the break, we have seen an improvement. Patrick Waugh has been getting them going, but I still do think you look at the over 5.5 in this. We got 11 minutes left in the third period. It's not like Calgary's really pulled away to the point where we're not going to see the Islanders pull Varlamov here out of net. We will see that, and the Islanders will try to get this one to be a tighter game. So the over 5.5 at plus 120, that's the line right now. I do think you should jump on that. We're going over between the Vancouver Canucks and the Detroit Red Wings as that game is tied 3-3 apiece. 10 minutes left in that third period. Now, live total of 7.5 plus 126 to the over. You can't hit that to the under. When I look at this one, the Red Wings have played so phenomenally strong versus Vancouver. And I do think they are live here to get the win at home. So they're coming in at plus 102. If I was jumping on anything, I already had the Red Wings going into this one, so I won't touch that. The St. Louis Blues and the Buffalo Sabres, I still think the Sabres have the opportunity of tying this one up and pushing it to OT. This is a 2-1 game right now. You're getting the Sabres at plus 450. This is a perfect hedge spot if you want to hedge it. Grabbing the Sabres plus 450, fingers crossed with the 4 minutes left that they can tie it up. If they can tie it up with 4 minutes left, Hoffer, I really don't trust. I expected more goals to come out of the Sabres in this one. When we go to OT, you could look at taking the St. Louis Blues on the opposite side, but you've got to believe that we can see the Sabres tie this up here. So those are the live games we're looking at. Montreal is a dog versus the Dallas Stars. There's 10 minutes left in that. We've got a nice opportunity to grab them at plus 560 to be able to come back. You guys know I've got a soft spot for Montreal in making us money. It's not that I like the team. It's a team that we have seen in these situations be able to come back and get us that great plus money. So at plus 600 right now with 9 minutes left, I think it's a solid way. And if you do believe that is going to happen, or we're going to see, well, if you believe it's going to happen, the over 6.5 is the way to go. That's minus 150. If the Dallas Stars score, we're not going to go to overtime in this one. And it could be a 4-2 game here for the Dallas Stars. So if you like them to come out, the puck line is laying 1.5 at minus 106, and the over 6.5 is minus 142. You'd have to take, I think if Dallas scores the fourth goal, it's done. It's a 4-2 finish there. As Montreal will push, but down 2 goals, I just don't see it happening at plus 112. So let's get into these games going on. Dallas at even money. They're minus 1,200. You can lay the 1.5 at minus 108, but I don't like it. I like looking for value on the underdogs there. You can look at the Montreal Canadiens plus 1.5. Such great value there at minus 125. You're already in that spot, so you got to count on not getting that empty netter there for the Dallas Stars once they pull Sam Montague. Sam Montague has been solid, and Jake Ottinger, you know, he can allow these goals to come in. Cole Caulfield is a difference maker for the Montreal Canadiens, and Suzuki has been phenomenal as well. We know they traded away Monahan, but I still do think this team is clicking so nicely out there on the ice. So let's look at the first game up next. It's kicking off pretty quick here. 5:30 Eastern, we have the Washington Capitals taking No, sorry, 3:30 Eastern. The Washington Capitals taking on the Boston Bruins. Now, Charlie Lindgren has been struggling for the Washington Capitals. He's expected in net, and I really had high hopes for him coming out of the break. Those last couple of games for him, just he hasn't been looking like himself. Swayman expected here for the Boston Bruins. Now, the lines on this one, we have Washington at plus 230, minus 285 for the Bruins, total of 5.5. It's juiced to that over at minus 122, plus 100 to the under. Now, the Bruins roll in off that fantastic win over the Vancouver Canucks. They still can't believe they were able to get the shutout win there 4-0. Now, Allmark was in net for that one. The Washington Capitals just have been struggling to find the back of the net. This is the first night of a back-to-back for them. They'll face the Vancouver Canucks tomorrow. So super hard games to play back-to-back, the Bruins and then the Canucks. Don't count them out, though, on the second night of a back-to-back. The Capitals are kind of sneaky on that second night of a back-to-back. And we have the Bruins off that big win with the Lightning on deck at home on Tuesday. So there's no look-ahead situation here. There is also really no letdown spot. I think they're just so strong at home. So looking at Boston, how are we going to make money with the Boston Bruins? Because I don't want to take the puck line for the full game. They are strong on home ice on that puck line, 14-11 on the puck line. But I do think that first period to come out nice and strong. I don't trust the Washington Capitals and Charlie Lindgren right now not to give up those goals. This defense has been allowing their goaltending to be absolutely peppered out there, and they're allowing their opponents to completely light the lamp in their last 5 games. In 4 of those last 5, they've given up 5 or more goals. So I expect the Bruins to come out and get those goals to start off this game. Looking at the Boston Bruins in the first period, laying the half a goal on the puck lines, coming in at plus 120. I always get a little nervous when the books are giving us such good value in that first period for the better team here, but I do think it's the right way to go. Now, you can also look at their team total over 3.5 at minus 116. I do expect them to be able to find the back of Charlie Lindgren's net. I just don't trust him right now. Now, looking at goal scorers, we know Ovi was able to get that nice goal in his last game out. Looking at his shots on goal tonight, I think is a strong way to go. You can get him 4+ shots on goal. And I know it's asking a lot, especially against the Bruins, but the Bruins defense is allowing 31.2 shots on goal per game. So it's not like this defense is really not allowing their goaltenders to be shot at. The defense just is able to play a solid game there, and the goaltending really is carrying it on that side of things. So OV, 4+ shots on goals, plus 120. You can look at him for the anytime goal as well. And when we're looking at the Bruins, how can we not take Pasternak here? The books know it, though. Pasternak for the anytime goal, the value is just gone. He's minus 130 for an anytime goal. The 2+ points, which you could see Pasternak get 2+ points, he's gone over. He's had 2 or more points in 7 of his last 10. Pasternak just completely rolling out there. He is like leaps and bounds above Brad Marchand for the goals on this team. He definitely is a player you could look at this season to be able to take MVP. He's just been absolutely phenomenal out there. So Pasternak, 2+ points is plus 102. I do think he can definitely get those 2 points here. The Caps, like I said, this team is just, they've been struggling to keep the puck out of the back of their net. Now, if you're looking for longer shots on both of these teams, you know I like looking at Charlie McAvoy. He's so solid for the Boston Bruins. And then TJ Oshie here for the Washington Capitals, I think, is a solid look as well. Looking at both of those players, either for their points or looking at them for their shots on goal, I would look at as well. You took Washington's team total under 2.5, parlayed with Charlie Coyle points over. Yeah, I like that. I like where you're going with that. I think it's a good way to go. I just don't see the Washington Capitals scoring a lot. Now, it is Swayman is expected. Swayman or Allmark, there's not huge a step down on either side of those goaltenders. So I like where you're going. Let's look at the Colorado Avalanche taking on the Florida Panthers. This kicks off our night games. This one kicking off at 6 p.m. Eastern. Looking at this here, plus 115 for the Avs. If you think they can break that losing streak, the Florida Panthers at minus 138. total of 6.5. Right away, you guys, I know it's nerve-wracking to take the total of this game under 6.5, but I have to. That's coming in at minus 105. I'm looking for the Florida Panthers on home ice for them to defensively control this game. We've got Georgiev and Bobrovsky as the expected goalies, confirmed goalies here. Georgiev comes in with a 2.91 goals against average and an 8.97 save percentage, while Bobrovsky 2.49 and 9.10 save percentage. So I do think we're going to have a goaltending battle between these two. This is a deadly road trip for the Colorado Avalanche coming out of the All-Star break. Now, they have lost the last three. It was the Canes on Thursday was their recent loss. That was a 5-2. The Devils on Tuesday, 5-3. And then they lost to the Rangers in that opening night. That was 2-1. So this is their fourth game of a 6-game road trip. They have the Capitals on Tuesday, the Lightning on Thursday. Then they're home to face the Coyotes. And I don't think it's next Saturday. It is next Sunday. So hard road trip here for them. Could they lose all of these games? No, I don't think they lose all of these games. I could see them beating the Washington Capitals in their next game and maybe the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I'm not sure if they get back on track here versus the Florida Panthers. You look Monday through to today, how many hard teams they've had to face in those losses that they've had. I'm falling back to what we took in the last game against the Colorado. We took the team total under 2.5, and I know it was so scary taking their team total under 2.5, but it hit versus Carolina. I'm taking the team total under 2.5 again. That's coming in at plus 132. We look at the Florida Panthers and we look at this defense and how sound this defense is. They're allowing only 27.1 shots on goal per game, second best overall in the league. Their kill is phenomenal at 82.6%. And Colorado, why I don't want to take the full game. I do like the full game under, but you've got to also look at Colorado, the goals they've been giving up on the road. So I'm a little cautious with the full game under. That's where I am leaning. The best bet I do think is the Avs team total under 2.5. And I know it's scary. I do think this one could go to overtime. And I think this is 2-2 going to overtime. Going to overtime is plus 360 in this game. So that is where I'm going with this. I know it's nerve-wracking. And actually that under 6.5, because it is a 6.5, if this game doesn't go to overtime, I think it's because we end up with this one being a 4-2 game or a 3-2 game. So yeah, the under 6.5. We're getting a lot of value there. So minus 105, I'll hit the under 6.5, but I do like that team total. St. Louis Blues get the win. Man, I really did think the Sabres were going to be able to take that one today. The Blues are playing so good as an underdog. That's 5 straight wins as an underdog as well. Let's look at the next game here. We have the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals. Okay, Pittsburgh Penguins, Washington Capitals. I was just looking at those other scores. Calgary and Islanders still 3-1. Vancouver and Detroit still tied up 3-3 apiece. And the Dallas Stars and Montreal Canadiens, 5 minutes left. Dallas still leading by that one goal. You can get plus 1.5 for the Montreal Canadiens at plus 130. Your bet wins as long as there's no more goals right now. Okay, next game is the Penguins and the Jets. So the Penguins come in at plus 126 here on the road facing the Winnipeg Jets, who are in a complete slump right now. Minus 152 for the Winnipeg Jets at home on the money line, total of 5.5. Now that 5.5 is juiced to the over at minus 120, minus 102 to the under. Okay, Tristan Jarry expected here for the Pittsburgh Penguins and Connor Hellebuck. We know this is a rematch. These two teams just played on Tuesday. It was the Penguins winning it 3-0, getting the shutout. Tristan Jarry was the goaltender in net. He only faced 23 shots on goal. Connor Hellebuck, on the other hand, saved 24 of 27 shots on goal, so he did allow those 3. Connor Hellebuck at home is so phenomenally strong. This game, to me, screams under all day long. Again, I really do think this is a competitive, low-scoring game, which defenses and goaltending will get the win. Between Tristan Jarry and Connor Hellebuck at home is the goaltender that I trust more. But I do think Tristan Jarry off that shutout comes in with so much confidence. And if you're giving me plus money on the Pittsburgh Penguins here, I do think I have to bite. Now, yes, the Penguins are on the second night of the back-to-back. They lost to the Minnesota Wild last night 3-2. I'm not worried about them on a back-to-back. This is actually a really positive for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have won their last 7 on that second night of a back-to-back. So I'm not frightened. It's like they almost come out stronger in this situation. Now, Dylan is still out on suspension for the Winnipeg Jets, and I do think that it causes a big hole for them. This team's sitting third in the Central, and they've lost their last 5, the last 2 since coming back from the break. The Philadelphia Flyers hit this team hard, 4-1 on Thursday, and if the Flyers can hit them that hard, I do think the Pittsburgh Penguins, with Sidney Crosby just flying out there on the ice, can hit them just as hard. So I'm looking for a sit the kid, Sidney Crosby, to be able to get that anytime goal today. I'm looking for the Penguins to get the win at plus 126, and I'm going to ride with the under. They've also won 7 of the last 10 meetings, so it's not like they haven't dominated this matchup, but defensive goaltending battle here. I'm not getting goaltending props, but I would look here. Both of these teams allowing these shots to come in. Connor Hellebuck faced 27 in the last game. If his number is coming in right around 26, 25 and a half, I do think the Penguins get more shots in this game. I would look at him to go to the over. And Jari only faced 23 with the Pittsburgh Penguins defense really standing tall. Now, their defense will be a little bit more tired in this one, but Tristan Jari will be phenomenal and ready to go. So it'll be interesting what happens in this one. We will be talking the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers in just a second. Just quick preview. I am looking for that one to stay way under the total, and the Kings to look for revenge in this one. You know, the Kings, even though they're just coming back after the All-Star break, will look to get revenge. Edmonton won the last one. We know what happened in the playoffs. The Kings will be playing with a lot. Okay. The New Jersey Devils take on the Carolina Hurricanes. This one at 7 p.m. Eastern. We have a total of 6.5 in this one, minus 120 to the over, minus 102 to the under. I am scared to take this one to the over, and I do think it should stay under that total because we look at Carolina and how strong they have been on the defensive side of the puck. Now, the New Jersey Devils, off that loss to the Calgary Flames, in which they allowed 5 goals, they really need to tighten up on the defensive side of the puck. It just was not a good showing defensively. They rely so much on their offense to win them games, but they know that's not going to get them anywhere deep into the playoffs. Now, Nico Daws expected in net for them tonight, and Kucherov expected here for the Carolina Hurricanes. He's got a 2.61 goals against average and an 8.98 save percentage. I do think Kucherov can do enough in this game against this elite Devils offense that will be trying to get those shots. But look at this defense. This defense is the number 1 in the league for allowed shots on goal, only allowing 24.9 shots on goal. Their kill is killer at 83.9 as well, while their power play is second best overall in the league at 28%. So I do think the Carolina Hurricanes, this is such a short price for them. It almost feels trappy. Don't you guys agree? You look at the Carolina Hurricanes, they are the way better team on both sides of the puck. They've got the better power play. They've got the better kill. They're only minus 160 here at home. It doesn't sit right with me at all, you guys. Plus 132 here for the New Jersey Devils and total of 6.5. I'm going to take the under in this one, under 6.5 at minus 102. I think the Canes win it in a tight battle. You guys know I don't like the minus 160, and I can't lay that with a team. I don't love this regulation value we're getting either. It's not enough for me. I could see this one going to OT. I think there's something fishy happening in this one. They won the last matchup back in January 3-2, and they've won the last 3, but only covered the puck line in 1. There's not enough value for us to look at the New Jersey Devils in a tight battle because plus 1.5 is minus 172. So this is like a no bet on the side, you guys. I think it's tight. I think it's a 1-goal game. I do lean Carolina on home ice to get the win, but I think the under 6.5 is the only way I can go just because of the value we're getting. Let me know what you guys think. Yeah, this one probably goes to OT. I really do think it's just kind of fishy. That is for sure. Calgary getting the win 4-1. Thanks for keeping me updated with that. Did you see Jacob Markstrom got an assist with the first goal by Mackenzie Weegar? It was pretty cool to see. Now, I've never looked at goalies to be able to get the assists, and I guess it happens more than I've really realized. Markstrom's now got 2 assists in like the last since coming back from the All-Star break. This wasn't something that I don't know. We can't bet it. And I guess I'm just looking for who I'm thinking is going to get assists at the end of the game to see who got them. So kind of crazy. Let's look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think, are in for a huge night, you guys. Total of 6.5 here versus the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus coming back for their first night off the break. Elvis in net. You guys know I think Elvis is one loss away from a meltdown out there on the ice. Frustration. This could be the night. The Tampa Bay Lightning have been struggling coming back out of the All-Star break. We look at them here. They're off that loss to the Islanders 6-2, in which they just couldn't find the back of the net. This is a team that averages 3.4 goals per game, and they're just not getting them. And I think against Columbus here, we see them fly over. Now, Vasilevsky is a net for them. I'm going to look at a couple of things here. I'm going to stay off the game total. I don't know how much I trust Columbus. I do think Columbus can get a couple here, but it's the Tampa Bay Lightning who I trust. Their team total over 3.5 is -128. I think that is a really solid way to go. Like I said, they were held to only 2 goals versus the Lightning. I think the frustration is taken out on the Columbus Blue Jackets here. When we look at Elvis, he's 4-5-2 in his last 11 games versus the Tampa Bay Lightning with a 2.78 goals against average. So that's pretty low and a 914 save percentage. But I think coming out of the break, we see Elvis a little rusty out there, and we see Tampa hit him like really fast. So I'm going to take the over 3.5 for their team total. The Tampa Bay Lightning in the first period laying half a goal at +136, and the over 1.5 at -140 in the first period. I expect this to be a 2-1 even first period here for the Lightning. 3 goals in that first period. If it's 3-0, even better. Fantilli is still out for the Columbus Blue Jackets as well. That is a huge hole for them. We know Patrick Lane went on IR. Kucherov for the Lightning for that anytime goal. You're going to have to lay juice at -115, but I do like Kucherov for the anytime goal. You can also look at him for 2+ points. But you're laying way too much juice. 2+ points is coming in at -146. The books know he's going to get those points. I think he gets the goal. I'd rather lay less juice. He has gone over. He's had 2 or more points in 6 of his last 10 games. Now, you could look at Braden Point as well. Victor Hedman, you're going to get more value on them. And Cirelli, I like all of those players. Like I said, I think it's a huge offensive night here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. If you're looking at the other side of the pocket, want some player props on there, I do think Johnny Gaudreau for the anytime goal screams of value at +250. He's gone over. He's had a point or more in 6 of his last 10 games. He's been able to get those goals on the board. And Bon Jenner here. Bon Jenner, I really need to step up in this one. I like him as a player, and he never gives up out there on the ice. He's coming in at +240 for the anytime goal. He's not been getting a lot of points. I really do think he is due for a huge game coming up. So anytime goal, just value right there. Dallas wins that one 3-2. So if you took Montreal plus the 1.5 on the live line, you walked away with money. Okay, Toronto and the Ottawa Senators. We talked about the total in this one. I do think this is a very open game, and I can see the goals coming in. That total of 6.5 coming in at -140. So the books believe it too. If you think this could be a sneaky under with Martin Jones in net, you could take the under 6.5 at +114. I just don't know if I think this one will stay under that total. I'm taking it to the over at -140. Don't love the value there. The Toronto Maple Leafs are -142 here on the money line and +118 for the Ottawa Senators. This is a battle of the Atlantic. So we know in some situations, Toronto really does play down to their opponent. They're playing the 8th in the Atlantic team. They're the 3rd place team in the Atlantic. So could we see them playing down? I don't think so, because it's a divisional rivalry here between Toronto and Ottawa. I think Toronto comes to play. Martin Jones has been pretty solid. He's got a 2.65 goals against average and a 911 save percentage. And Korpisalo just hasn't looked like himself this season. I really loved what we saw out of Korpisalo in so many games last year, and I just can't count on him to be that goalie this season. His goals against average is 3.38, and he's got an 889 save percentage. So looking at Toronto, I'm going to look at their team total here. Toronto's team total over 3.5 coming in at -112. And I do think this goes over the total of 6.5. 2 of the last 3 games have gone to that over. Now, the one that didn't go over was the last game that the Ottawa Senators were able to win. They won it in a 4-2 game. They also play in tight games. As an underdog, they have covered the puck line in their last 5. So this could be a tight one. There's no value here on them on the puck line, but give me a 3-4 game, and I think the 4 goals come out of Toronto. Okay, we have 3 more games left to go over, so thank you for everyone who is hanging with me. You guys agreeing on that one there. Doug saying, okay, 3-3, minute left. Who you guys got? I got Detroit to be able to get the win. Let's go. Okay. Stressful last minute. Tell me who wins, you guys. The Seattle Kraken taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. This Flyers team out of the All-Star break has shocked me. I cannot believe that they've been able to pull together these wins. They've won their last 2. They got a huge win over the Jets, which I just didn't see coming, 4-1 in their last game out. Now, lines on this game, if I can find them here. Oh, there it is. It's a pick-up, -110 either way, total of 5.5. Juice to that over at -115. A little bit of juice still, -105 to that under. I do think the Flyers have to go back to being the Flyers. Joey Decord, the Seattle Kraken. Joey Decord was absolutely phenomenal going into the break. This is the first game out of the break. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Flyers came out and hit him quick. We've seen these teams coming out of the break, starting slow out there on the ice. And with the Flyers' confidence winning their last 2, I could see the Kraken lose that first period. So the Flyers in the first period, I definitely think is worth a look. Am I going to bet it? No. I don't trust the Philadelphia Flyers, you guys. I just got a bias against them right now. I just don't believe in this team and what we're seeing. Cal Peterson is in goal for them tonight, and he has allowed a lot of goals. He's got a 3.38 goals against average and a .889 save percentage. I don't want anything to do with it. I know the Flyers defensively have been limiting their opponent's ability to get these shots, so they should give him support. They're allowing only 28.1, and their kill is phenomenally strong at 85.7. But I think the Kraken here, they're not a high-scoring team, but I do think they'll hit Cal Peterson. So I'm going to take the first period over 1.5 at -108. That way, and I'm not going to take either team to win that first period. I could see it being 1-1 going into the second period. We hit the over 1.5. That's coming in at -108. And then I really don't care what happens with the rest of this game. Like I said, I really do think the Flyers are going to get back in the losing column. The Kraken, though, first game out, it's a really hard situation for these teams, especially with a team with 2 games under their belt that have got hot again. So 4-game road trip starting here for the Kraken. They've got the Devils on Monday, the Islanders on Tuesday, and then the Bruins to finish on Thursday. So not the easiest of road trips. It's going to be especially hard versus the Devils with how strong that team is playing offensively. If you're looking ahead at lines, the Kraken versus the Islanders, I'm already looking for an under as soon as that one pops up before people bet it to that under. I'm guessing that's going to come in at 5.5. I'm hoping it's, a little bit of juice. I'm guessing it's going to be around -115 for the under 5.5, but I do think that will climb and we will have to pay a lot more on the under for that one. So that's where I'm looking for the look ahead situation for the Kraken. But yeah, definitely a hard road trip for them. I'm not certain it's Joey Decord. That's just who I'm seeing is Joey Decord. If it's Joey Decord, the team could absolutely get the win. It's going to be a hard one. And Peterson, I want to say Pedersen. Peterson is in for the Flyers. The Flyers and the Kraken. Matt and Joe going at it. Flyers and Kraken there. Love it. Okay. Arizona. Can we get an upset? Arizona rolling into Nashville to pull off the upset. Sign me up. All day long, twice on Saturday. It's Saturday. Let's look at the lines on this one. I wonder if it's moved at all. I'm actually really interested to see if this one has moved. Oh, we're going into, okay, FanDuel's really funny looking at these lines. It's telling me we got 19 minutes left in the third period between Vancouver and the Red Wings. That can't be right. So let me know if that one's going to OT, because if it's going to OT, we're cashing. And I need Detroit to get the win. Okay, the Arizona Coyotes plus 118, minus 142 for the Predators. Total of 5.5, minus 134 to the over. You're going to have to lay that juice. Some plus 110 to the under 5.5. Now, a lot of people are scared to hit these games to the under when it's 5.5. I'm not. I do think this is a lower scoring one. Connor Ingram has been absolutely fantastic in net for the Arizona Coyotes. And we saw them versus the Vegas Golden Knights. They lost. Yes, they lost. It was 3-2, though. They allowed all of those goals to come in by Vegas in the first period, and then they were able to lock down and calm themselves down coming out of that break. It was only that first period. I do think we can see here them dominate the Nashville Predators. This is the first game back out of the break for the Nashville Predators. They lost the 3 prior, and now this team will turn around, and I do think in that second, third period, we could see more out of the Preds. But I think that first period is completely owned on both ends of the ice by the Arizona Coyotes. I can see a strong performance out of them. I would look at them the first period money line. That's coming in at plus 106. If you want to do reverse puck line, I would take the reverse puck line on them in the first period as well. You're going to get so much value there. I just don't see the Preds coming out of this break completely on fire in the first period. I think we get a slower first period out of them where those mistakes are made, and Connor Ingram's been playing too good. Now, Saros is expected in net for the Preds, so I do expect both of these goaltenders to have strong performances here. This one to stay under 5.5, and they're giving me plus money. And then the Coyotes, just first period. That's all I'm looking for. Come out first period, be able to correct their wrongs in that first period versus Vegas, win the first period on the money line, cover the reverse puck line, and then this game to stay under that total. I'm not going to bet them for the full game. I do think the Predators will have made adjustments since going into the All-Star break with losing their 3 prior. So this team I do think is ready to go hot, but I just don't think it's in the first period. So that's where we're going. They have lost their last 4 as a favorite, and they've lost their first 4 in the first period as a favorite. So one game next. Did the Red Wings get it? Are you kidding? Did it go to OT or what happened with it? Okay, let me know, you guys. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the LA Kings. This one is the late game. Looking at lines for this one here, we have Edmonton rolling in as a favorite at minus 125, plus 104. For the Kings, total of 6.5, minus 124 to the under. Sign me up to that under all day. We need the defense of the Kings to start being the defense of the Kings. This team absolutely struggling going into the All-Star break. Now, we know they did get that win in their last game before the All-Star break. That was absolutely pivotal for this team to kind of feel like they have hope still left in their season. They're sitting 3rd in the Pacific. Edmonton sitting 4th. They are going to battle this one out tonight. Defenses and goaltending are going to be the main highlight of this game. Looking at Skinner, I'm worried about how rattled he comes out of this one. I'm hoping he plays solid off that last loss that they had. Now, Edmonton was able to get the win last night, but that was a hard-fought battle versus the Anaheim Ducks. Yes, the end score was, the box score was 5-3. They got that empty netter to solidify that 5-3 win to cover that puck line. It killed me. You guys know I had the Ducks plus the 1.5. I had all the Dogs plus the 1.5 parlayed yesterday. So I really did expect that empty netter not to happen. But we also saw the refs not make calls on the Oilers. It was like they were being paid off. Like, what are we watching? Are we watching like Patrick Mahomes out there and the refs getting on his side? Because that's what it felt like last night, watching the lack of calls versus Edmonton. There was a clear tripping out there, which would have resulted in, a goal taken back for Edmonton. So yeah, I'm a little bitter. Let's look at this game, though. I could dwell all on yesterday. We won money yesterday. So let's look at the positive. David Reach here for the LA Kings. Now we know what happened last playoffs, right? So we've already seen the matchup since last playoffs. Edmonton was able to eliminate the Kings. We saw Edmonton win the last battle. Now that was back in December. It was 3-2. The Kings still, they know this, and they've been sitting there on this break ready and preparing to take on Edmonton. They know they have to get past Edmonton if they want to make it deep into the playoffs this season. They also have to play defensively, and this team has to come together. You guys know we saw Drew Doughty talking to the media about how this team just isn't out there to win. They're out there to stack their points. So I do think this team has come together. I really do think we will see more out of them. I'm going to take the Kings at plus 104. I love the value of the home dog. And I know Edmonton is scary to go against, but they're on the second night of a back-to-back here. I'm also going to look at that first period under 1.5. That's coming in at plus 100. The full game under 6.5. It's juicy at minus 120 something, but I do think it's a solid way to go. Now, if you believe like I do that we're going to see defense and goaltending control this, the no goal in the first 10 minutes is an absolute sweat. And it's going to be hard because we know in some of these situations, especially with the Kings, coming into this game with fresh legs, we could see that early goal by Edmonton. And we know how easy it looks for Edmonton to be able to get those early goals. But looking at the no goal in the first 10 minutes, I can't get past the plus 124 that I'm getting with it. I do expect that Kings defense to be absolutely on point tonight and David Reach to come out phenomenally hot. So give me the no goals in the first 10 minutes at plus 124. I will be sweating that one tonight. Let me know, you guys, what you are liking under Doug for you as well. Skinner in net. Yeah, Skinner is confirmed in net. We'll see how he comes out. It's got to be hard after going for records and everything for Skinner to be able to come out and have that confidence, right? So we need that confidence out of him. 49ers win tomorrow. I like where you're going. Yeah, I like that plus 124 for no goal in the first 10 minutes. It's going to be a heartbreaker if that goal hits within that first 10 minutes, because it either hits within the first 30 seconds and we know we've lost, or it's going to hit at the 9-minute into the game mark and it's going to lose. So I do think we can get it. But you guys, that was it for Puck It with Jo for today. We went over all of these games looking at live lines right now. We do have the Washington Capitals and Boston Bruins kicking off. Again, I do think that Boston should be able to get the win in that one. I just don't love that puck line. So it should be a good game. I just wanted to see what games we have on deck tomorrow. You guys know the big game is tomorrow. If you don't know what you're doing. Only 2 matchups, the St. Louis Blues and the Montreal Canadiens, 1 p.m. Eastern. So both of those teams will be on the second night of a back-to-back. With Sam Montague not starting tonight, I believe we will see Jake Allen versus Binghamton. Binghamton can win that battle. I just don't trust Jake Allen that very much. But Montreal will stay at home. So that is kind of a benefit here. St. Louis will be on the traveling side. And then we have Vancouver playing their second night of a back-to-back, and the Washington Capitals. Capitals, the dog at home in that one at plus 128. So we will do a Pocket Cup of Joe tomorrow. I know everyone has a busy day, so I will try to get that out in the morning. These games kick off at 1 o'clock Eastern and 1:30. So look for them. Make sure you turn on those notifications so that you can find them. But you guys, all the best. I will put out a Super Bowl video as well. And as you know, if you go over to the SportsGrid app, you can find my best bets in the Super Bowl over there. So make sure, if you haven't downloaded it, download it today. And if you're looking for those bets for myself, you just go to host and you follow myself, and you can go to my page. There's clips from our shows and everything like that as well on the app. So you guys have a good one. Let's make some freaking money out there. You guys are absolutely the best. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. My mom is very happy with how Calgary is playing. That is for sure. So yeah, I like the under all day in that one. The 49ers. Let's get that money on the 49ers. You guys know I'm a Bolts fan. How can I cheer for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce to come out and get a big win? But it's 49ers all day for me. I'm going to be at a pretty fun Super Bowl party, so looking forward to it. Let me know what you guys are doing for Super Bowl. I'm always interested to hear. Let me know where you're watching these games tonight, too, and which one you're sweating. It's going to be fun. Have a good one, you guys. Bye.